something clear before I talk about manifesting and karma and happiness. I believe in manifesting your destiny. But before you can manifest it, you have to know what it is. You have to ask yourself the question, what do I want? And after you answer that, then you can manifest however you want to, whatever works for you. But my belief, my approach, is to live and love intentionally. So if you're intentionally doing it, is it manifesting? Well, absolutely. Because living and loving intentionally means that you are, quite simply, intentional about pursuing what you want all the time. It starts with a conscious effort, but then it becomes part of who you are. It becomes ingrained in your day-to-day actions. So does it mean putting a plan together and doing something towards that plan every day? Well, of course that could and maybe should be part of it. An old boss of mine loved to say, fail to plan to fail. So planning sure as hell isn't going to hurt anything, but I think we've all had a phase at some point where we've been a perpetual planner, right? We plan and plan and plan and plan some more, but nothing ever happens. When I went into business for myself in 2003, I wrote a business plan. I spent about 6 months on it before I went into business for myself. And then at the end of the first year, I took a look at it and realized it was pretty much shit. Because plans are plans, and they don't always reflect the reality of what will or has happened. And that same thing happens with intentionality, right? We forget to be truly intentional because we forget what it means to be truly intentional. Planning to be intentional isn't the same as being intentional. Being intentional has to permeate every action that you're taking every day. Being intentional starts with saying yes to the things you want. But there's another part. It also means saying no. It means saying no to the noise in your life, saying no to the crap, saying no to the garbage and drama. Someone once said to me, we're only given the potential of so many breaths to take. Why do I want to waste any of them talking about garbage? So saying yes means getting up and pursuing your goals every day, and that's important, but you can't get up and pursue your goals every day if you're spending your day saying yes to things that aren't in alignment with your goals, and that's why you need to say no. I used to have a couple of clients call me all the time and talk about things they wanted to do, but they never ended up doing it. So I started asking myself, and a couple times I've been asked them on the phone calls, is this conversation going to yield any fruit? Because is this going to yield any work, any money? Because I didn't want to spend any more time on it if it wasn't going to. I was wasting my breaths. And then I realized I could start asking the same question about anything. Why am I dating? When it came to dating, I was dating for a relationship. I mean, you've heard me mention the 3 F's, friendship, fucking, and forever. So the next question would be, is this, to myself, would be, is this date even going to be worth a second date? Why do I want to waste my time if there's a lack of chemistry or a misalignment of goals? I mean, but you can ask that about a job. How many annual evaluations are you going to go through without a raise or a promotion or at least a new opportunity in the company to do something? So being intentional means intentionally saying yes to the right things and saying no to the right things. And the balance to find that, it takes time. But being intentional also means that failure is not an option. In life, at work, in your relationships. It means you have to work through issues no matter how tough they are. You need to first and foremost communicate. Communicate with the people in your life. At the end of the day, it's my belief that you're not going to get what you want, what you feel you deserve, without doing work. No one's going to hand it to you. Not in your relationship, not at work, not your friends, not with your friends, nowhere in life. You manifest the life you want by putting order to the life you have. Order for now and order for the future. It's about placement. You're putting order in your life to place your life in a position to get what you want. So again, the first step to manifest what you want is to define it. Ask yourself the question, what do I want? What do I want my life to look like? And you have to be honest with yourself. And you'll soon find that two things happen. First of all, you'll be making conscious, intentional actions in pursuit of your goals. But second of all, it's just going to permeate your lifestyle and being. You'll be taking these proactive steps without even realizing it. You're going to learn to say when to say yes and when to say no. And doors of opportunity are going to open because you've defined them and you're pursuing them even in the smallest ways every day. So today's January 30th, 2025, and it's season 2025, episode 2 of the No Bad Karma podcast. The music today, if it makes it in the mix, is Karma by Raj Beats from Pixabay. And I just have to give a really quick shout out to all the new listeners. I've had more downloads than I've ever expected, and I really appreciate all of you. But I really wanted to follow up a little bit about what I was talking about in the last episode. I was talking about how you can't move forward without looking back on some level. And I was talking about that because that's what so many of us do at the beginning of the year. We look back and we look forward, but it's something we really have to do all the time, right? And like so many of the episodes here, pretty much most of them, I talk about these things because they're things I've gone through or am going through right now. And I'm sharing it with the in hopes that it benefits someone else. So as I've been thinking about the life I'm manifesting for myself and my look forward, I find myself looking back, especially with some of the big changes I've had. And there's two things I keep coming back to. They keep coming back to me as I think about these things. And one is the question of karma. By the question of karma, I mean the role of karma in your present life. And I keep thinking about happiness and contentment, and specifically happiness without contentment, because we seek happiness and we seek contentment, but they're really two different things. Happiness is not elusive, but I think the definition of happiness is for a lot of us, because happiness is a very personal thing. There's no one definition. But contentment's really just about peace in our life. And that's not what happiness is about, right? You can have peace, but not be happy with the state of things. And it's taken me a long time to learn that contentment does not mean happiness, and happiness does not mean contentment. And I really think the Holy Grail is both, having happiness with contentment, right? But today I want to talk about, when that elusive subject of happiness without contentment. So I've already talked a little bit about manifesting, define what you want and pursue it, but let's talk about the question of karma, whether or not that has a role, and then the happiness without contentment. When I'm talking about the question of karma, I'm really talking about the role of karma. And the question of karma in your life is something that's very individual and very personal, just like happiness, right? Because the question of karma in your life requires you to be brutally honest with yourself, right? No one else can do this work for you, because you are the only one that truly knows the rights and wrongs you've performed in your life. You see, if you believe in karma on any level, in any form, then you better be looking at yourself and looking at your past actions. So if we're going to talk about karma, I should do a quick little definition of what I mean by that. And I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. Everything you do puts energy into the universe. You do something good, you put good energy out. You do something not so good, you put not so good energy out into the universe. Now, here's where we all think that's going to come back to us, right? We think if we put this good energy out, then we deserve it back. We should be expecting it. And we always think that if someone else is putting out bad energy, then they deserve it back. We really don't think about the bad energy we're putting out, past, present, and future, and how that might come back to us. But here's the real shocker. You can put tons of good energy out, and nothing good's coming back to you. Or worse yet, you feel you're getting all this bad energy you don't deserve. And sticking with the theme of the episode, right? Your life ain't manifesting the way you expect. I feel that about some things. You see, we all know someone in life that just puts out garbage energy all the time, right? All the awful things they do. Maybe it's not awful things they do, but maybe they just have a real lack of doing good things, right? But they never seem to get it back. Yeah, you're sitting here getting your bad energy and you just want to shout, "It ain't fair, man." But that's really kind of the point with karma, right? There's no guarantee that the good energy you put out is going to come back to you. You can't do good because you want it to come back to you. You can't be out there doing good every day thinking, "Oh, if I do all these good things, this good stuff's going to come back to me." You should be doing good things because you should be doing good things. It's a choice. You have to choose to do that. And there sure as hell is no guarantee that the bad energy other people are putting out is going to come back to them. I mean, we all kind of secretly hope it does, right? So here's the part that hurts, right? Here's why you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Because if you think about the state of your life and the things that aren't right for you, and you do that look back, doesn't it make you wonder if there's a question of karma, if karma's at play? Are the things wrong in your life today because you're getting your karma? Is it karma playing a role in your life? Well, to get straight to the answer, or maybe to give you some hope on that thought, if you can't do good to make good come back to you, then why should your past wrongs be a reason for your situation? I'm not saying it's okay you did something wrong in the past, but I'm just saying if there's no guarantee for good, then there should also be no reason to think that the bad in your past life or in your current life is because of bad things you did in the past, right? So in other words, whatever rules you're applying to everyone else really applies to you too. But here's why it's worth asking the question. Here's why it's worth looking back and asking if karma has a role in your state of affairs. Not affairs, but affairs. Because in the interest of improving yourself, in the interest of improving your life and your situation, in the interest of manifesting your dreams and what you want, we have to understand our mistakes. And our mistakes are never as evident and glaring to us as they are when life is not going well. When you're down and when you're feeling like things ain't going your way, and you look back and you think about, "Oh shit, am I getting my karma right?" That's when those mistakes are really glaring to you. When everything's great, when life's going well, most of us aren't sitting there thinking about our past misdeeds. How are you going to be intentional about the future if you don't look back at the past and know the mistakes you made? You see, sometimes when things in my life aren't going so well, I think about some of the bad things I did in my past, and I wonder if I'm getting my karma. I know other people think that too. But at the end of the day, even though I believe in karma, we can't think about that like that about ourselves, right? Karma's real. But if you're thinking that way, it's going to get in the way of progress. If you keep thinking you're getting the karma you deserve, it's going to send you down the proverbial rabbit hole. We need to not think so much about the negative aspects of karma and focus on the positive, just like putting out good energy. Think about the good things you did in the past. We can't assume that anyone having a streak of bad luck in any particular area of their lives, including ourselves, yourself, is getting their karma for something they did in the past. It doesn't mean that someone having a rough go put out bad energy in some area of their life in the past. In fact, they could be the greatest possible person in the world. But when you're having this shit string of crap in your life, doesn't it make you wonder? But I say you need to look back, and I say it should hurt. Because that's the only way you're going to be honest with yourself. Because you have to ask yourself, is what I'm going through me getting my karma? Does what I'm going through right now have something to do with the way I behaved in the past? And that's something that, like happiness, is personal because only you know. You have to ask that question. You have to ask yourself, what are my past bad choices? But you can do the same things about the good ones too. You see, sometimes life is just shitty. But at the end of the day, questioning ourselves, challenging ourselves about what we did in the past, examining that is challenging ourselves today to be better. Because at the end of the day, we're all striving for the same things: happiness and contentment. You see, we do this look back, we do this look forward, and we set our goals because we're seeking a greater happiness, a greater contentment. And those really are two different things. You see, we all crave happiness. And for so many of us, we find it elusive. And that's because we all want the secret sauce. We all want to know what the formula to happiness is. What are the steps to happiness? What is the definition of happiness, right? But it's not happiness that's elusive. It's the definition of happiness which is elusive. Because we expect there to be one, but we can't define it because it's personal. So without realizing it, so many of us, what we start to do is we just start to seek contentment, peace in our lives. And we sometimes think that's happiness. But see, we should want that. You should want contentment. I'm not saying settling. I'm saying contentment. But contentment isn't happiness. So, let me be clear. Happiness is good and contentment is good. And I really think the Holy Grail is having them both, truly having them both. So what are they and how are they different? Well, happiness is really having, what you want. And I have more to say about that. Just hold on. So if happiness is having what you want, contentment is really your state of satisfaction with what you have right now. So in life, of course, there's a lot of things we want. And like I said, it's different for all of us, right? But there's always a lot of things that we want. And we can talk about being happy on the whole, or we can talk about it pertaining to individual things. So, like, for example, if I take everything in my personal life, man, I couldn't be happier, right? Got a great partner, just had a new son 11 weeks ago today. But am I content with my life? So Am I happy? Yes. Am I content? I have some discontentment, not with my personal life, but with my life on the whole. But do I want more personally? Of course I do. I want my relationship with my partner to be better. We'd love to have more kids. We'd love to live in a different place. But at the end of the day, we're damn grateful and truly blessed for finding each other. What we have built together, what we are building together, what we have now. Do we want more? Hell yes, we do. Professionally, am I happy? No. I'm also not content. I don't have what I want, and I'm not satisfied with the state of things. But if I look at my life on the whole, I have to acknowledge that I'm happy. But I'm not content. But it's important to understand what you are not content with, what you are not happy with. Otherwise, you're going to blame something else, or worse yet, someone else for that. So I have exactly what I was talking about in the title of this episode: happiness without contentment. You see, it's okay not to be happy, and it's okay to not be content. It's not okay to settle, ever. But there's nothing wrong with not being happy about something, or not being content about something. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging it. It's how we move forward. It's how we define what we want. It's how we, it gives us the definition of what we need to do every day to move our lives forward. It helps us define the steps we need to take. You see, so often we get caught up with what we don't have. And that makes us restless. And that gives us a feeling of discontent. But it's because we're not, it's a, you know, and like I said, it's okay to be not content. But this is what happens. We forget what's important. We let this restlessness get under our skin, and we forget what's important. We forget about the things that give us the true happiness. And we let discontent with certain things ruin the things that truly make us happy. We let it ruin a feeling of gratitude that we should be having for the things that are giving us the true happiness in life, because the only things that matter are the things that matter, right? So what happens next? We fuck it up. We fuck up the things that make us happy because we think about it. We're hung up on our discontent. That's why it's okay to acknowledge it. You see, ultimately, happiness are those things that last forever. And contentment is temporary. It's just the state of things. You can have things that make you happy, but yet feel discontent. And that is okay. The strive for contentment should strengthen your happiness, should increase your happiness, not displace it. And then when we're fat and fed and feel comfortable, sometimes we splurge in that feeling alone, and we stop thinking about the need to be intentional. We lose sight of the big picture. We lose sight of the things that make us truly happy. But it starts with the question, what do you want? Not what will make you comfortable, but what matters. Because the only things that matter are the things that matter. And that starts with the people in your life. But you have to ask yourself what you want, because you're not going to manifest it into reality until you first answer that question. Because those things that you want are the things that are going to make you happy. And then you can ask, am I content with the state of things? And it's okay to say no. In fact, you want to be able to look around and say, I have things that make me happy. Much more than you want to look around and say, I have things that make me content. Because content is comfortable. And you should never be comfortable with unhappiness. I'd rather be happy and not content than not happy and content. You should never be comfortable with unhappiness. But when you think about that happiness, even though it's going to include a whole list of things, right? One thing I can tell you is that it starts with people. Your spouse, partner, children, parents, friends, maybe people you volunteer with or work with, right? People are the things that matter. The people in your life are what's going to bring you happiness. But going through that process is going to bring clarity to what you need to do next. Because then all those non-people things related to your happiness, well, now we're talking about contentment, because that's really the temporary state of things. Those are things that you can do something about and improve upon. And then you're going through those questions, going through that process, then you're going to have some clarity to be able to do something about it. And the doing something can start with small steps if you need to, but like I said, it's going to start with saying yes to the things that you want. Chase it, say yes. And start saying no to the things that aren't contributing to that happiness and contentment. Because that saying yes, saying no process is really going to address both issues, your happiness and contentment. And that's how you get to that holy grail of having them both. So where does karma fit in? Well, when I think about my discontentment, like I said, I often think, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? I mean, sure, I did some bad things, but I have to really stop and think sometimes with some of the stuff I've gone through. What did I really do to deserve this? And I think that about, a lot of things in my life, a lot of individual aspects of my life. But if you're going to ask that question about your discontentment, you also have to ask it about the things that you have happiness for and things that bring you contentment, because you can also ask yourself, what did I do to deserve those good things? Because you're really trying to repeat your past success and avoid your past failures. So you have future success and not future failures. So the bottom line with the karma aspect is this, right? If you're living and loving intentionally, living for humanity, others, and yourself, if you're only putting out good energy in the world and trying to generate that good karma, then don't worry about it. There will be no bad karma. I mean, really, just thinking about it, if all you did every day was put out good energy, said yes to the things you want and no to the things you don't, isn't that really how you're giving your choices a purpose bigger than yourself? I'll see you soon.